Good goddamn day, everybody. My homies, my lady homies, everybody. Welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. I want to start this video by saying shout out to Yu-Gi-Oh! Organization. It's a very awesome news website that pretty much just, as soon as they find out anything about any important, semi-relevant Yu-Gi-Oh! Information, they post it on their website. So if you don't know, like literally, I check this website like every morning and every night, like every single day, because I mean, I make news videos and stuff. So, you know, there's that kind of thing. But sometimes I forget to shout them out at the beginning of videos. And I just want to put a big shout out there for them because I want them to get the credit they deserve. And even if you don't want to watch my videos, definitely if you still like Yu-Gi-Oh! News and get excited about that kind of stuff, just check it every morning and night like I do and just see, because they're very awesome and they keep very up to date with a lot of stuff. But as far as what today is, we've got a whole new archetype that looks so dope revealed for Ignition Assault. I guess this will be like the I don't want to say runner-up archetype, but like the set is obviously based around Ad Ignisters, but after that this will be like the next archetype, because usually they have 2 new archetypes every core set ish, something like that. But this is the SENKA theme. So, Yu-Gi-Oh! Organization says, have you been thirsty for romance of the 3 kingdoms? Each of the characters is named after a character from the classic Chinese novel Romance of the 3 Kingdoms. The name itself seems to be reference to SENKA, the fires or ravages of war, and Chuka, the Japanese spelling of a poetic name for China, meaning the central flower. The flower at war, as it were, but for simplicity's sake, let's leave it as SENKA for the moment until we get actual English translations of what the real name of the archetype will be. But let's get into this. This is obviously so dope. Look at that. That's so, I love the aesthetic of them. It kind of gives me like 6 Samurai / Noble Knights, but more Asian country based, which is cool. So we'll start here with SENKA Intermediary Sun Mu. It's a level 4 Water Beast Warrior effect monster. That's interesting. So Tenki could be a thing here. Tenki and Tensu. 1800 attack, 1500 defense, and you can only use the 2nd and 3rd effects of him once per turn each. Your opponent cannot target this card for an attack while you control another SENKA monster. Okay. Weird, but okay. 2nd effect, you can send 1 card you control or in your hand to the graveyard as cost to add a SENKA monster from your deck to your hand, except for himself. Okay. It's any card you control or in your hand. Interesting. 3rd effect, if your other SENKA monster's effect is activated, you can target 1 monster your opponent controls and return that monster to the hand. Yo, that's actually so clean. If you have anything, even if the other effect that you're activating isn't an actual disruptive effect, if it can activate on your opponent's turn, this guy just gives you the extra value of bouncing. And he searches you. This is a really nice, strong starter card. Okay, cool. I like it. Next up we have SENKA Adonis Zugong. A level 4 Water Beast Warrior effect monster. These are all Water Beast Warriors. That's actually so cool. It makes Tenki amazing. Consistency. You already have Rhoda in your deck. 1600 and 1600 are his stats. You can only use each of his effects once per turn. And his first effect, you can target 1 continuous spell or trap card you control as cost. Send that card to the graveyard, and if you do, add 1 SENKA spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. Okay, yeah, so you can just trade any continuous spell or trap card you already have for another one. Okay, not bad. Nice utility if we have, well, we'll get to what kind of ones, what continuous spell and trap cards we can use this for. If your other SENKA monster's effect is activated, you can target 1 monster your opponent controls as cost and negate its effects for the rest of the turn. All right. Very cool. So another disruptive effect. This one bounces, this one negates, but I guess in the right chain link you could negate an effect and then bounce something. So if they did activate something in chain link, you could really do some damage. Next up we have SENKA Tactician Lu Jing, a level 4 Water Beast Warrior effect monster, of course. 700 attack, 2000 defense, so big booty, not impressive in the attack though. I like his design a lot. And each of his effects are hard once per turns. You can target one continuous spell or trap card you control, send that card to the graveyard, and if you do, add one SENKA spell or trap card with a different name from your graveyard to your hand. Okay, so he has a little more graveyard synergy in swapping those out, which is interesting. If your other SENKA monster's effect is activated, you can target one spell or trap card your opponent controls and destroy that card. Okay. This one's a little more niche. I would say if you play this one, he's a 1 or a 2 of maybe. Whereas I think both of these are probably 3 ofs. Definitely this guy's a 3 of. Maybe this guy's a 2 or 3 of. But not bad, but just not as want to see him every duel for sure. Next up we have the cover card. So he's probably good if I had to guess. But we'll see. He is this is SENKA Noble, Liu Swan, excuse my pronunciation, level 4 wind, beast warrior effect monster, so wind this time, okay. 1400 attack, 1200 defense, and his second and third effects are hard once returns. Your opponent cannot target this card for an attack while you control another SENKA monster. Okay, so I guess if you put him and the first one on the field, your opponent can't target either of them with attacks. Okay, not bad. The lock. If you control fewer monsters than your opponent, you can send one card you control or in your hand to the graveyard as cost to special summon a SENKA monster straight from the deck. Okay, pretty good. It does have the stipulation that you have to have fewer monsters than your opponent, but definitely could be a powerful effect nonetheless. And if an attack is declared for a battle involving another SENKA monster you control, you can draw one card. Not terrible. I was expecting a little more from the cover, or at least the card that yugioh as an organization decided to use to represent the whole archetype, but still not a bad card nonetheless. I'm interested in why it's wind. I was almost like getting super rowdy over possibly running something like Ties of the Brethren in this deck, because these guys already have disruptive effects. They can plus you, and then you can just Ties of the Brethren out, all 3 of them, and then just kind of rock and roll. But okay, we'll see. We'll see where we go from there. Next we have SENKA Justice Guan Yun, a level 7 wind beast warrior effect monster, so a high level monster with 2500 attack and 1800 defense. His third effect is a hard once per turn, and we'll check him out. If only your opponent controls monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. Okay, so going second, you just drop him out. Big beat stick, not terrible. Second effect, other SENKA monsters you control cannot be targeted by your opponent's effects. Okay, that's not bad either, definitely, for sure. If you have him and a bunch of other ones, they are untargetable. And the third effect, if your opponent controls more monsters than you can target one monster your opponent controls and destroy that target. Okay, so if you're going second, your opponent has 2 or more monsters, special summon this guy out, pop a card for free, and then as you go through the rest of your plays, your other cards won't be targetable. Not bad, but he's definitely a going second specific card. Going first, he really doesn't do much at all. Next up, we have SENKA Champion Zhang Di, or Zhang Di. I don't know exactly how that goes, but he's cool. I actually like his design. He's a level 7 wind beast warrior effect monster, same as the last one. 2700 attack, 900 defense. First and third effects are hard once per turns. First effect, if you control 2 or more SENKA monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. Alright, that's pretty good. If you can establish that in the first turn, not too shabby. This card gains 300 attack for each monster your opponent controls during its controller's turn only. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's not terrible, but it's during its controller's turn, so during your turn only. So I guess when you're going on the offensive, let's see what his third effect is, though. If your opponent controls more monsters than you can activate this effect. During this turn, this card can attack monsters your opponent controls twice during each battle phase. Okay, so he makes himself big, and then you can just attack with him twice. Just pretty good for mounting offensive pressure. Both of these boss monsters are and this guy. All 3 of the win ones are like pretty going second forward, where I feel like the first 3 are actually more going first centric, which is kind of weird. Okay, we'll see where the rest of this goes, though. We have SENKA Legend, the 3 visit. a continuous spell card, of course. During your second standby phase after activation, send this card to the graveyard. Okay, so it sits for a while though, which is fine. And the first and second effects are both hard once returns. During your main phase, if you normal or special summon a SENKA monster, you can target one of them and add one SENKA monster from your deck to your hand with a different name than that target. This is an awesome extender. This kind of reminds me of like Black Whirlwind. Pretty cool. I like that. I like it a lot. Second effect, if this card is sent from the spell and trap card to the graveyard, you can special summon a SENKA monster from your hand. Not bad. You do that pretty easily with a couple of the monsters, just sending a spell or trap to get another card, and then this card also lets you like jump another monster on board if you open multiple in hand that were kind of clogging a little bit. Not too shabby, and it just plus you. Good card. I like that. Second one, SENKA Legend, the Sun Liu Alliance, another continuous spell. You can use. You can only use each of the first and second effects once per turn each. If you control two or more SENKA monsters with different attributes, you can declare one attribute, and the effects of all monsters your opponent controls of the declared attribute cannot be activated until the end of this turn. So here's my thing with this card. It's not a quick effect, apparently, which means you're not doing this on your opponent's turn. You're not able to just lock your opponent out of activating dark effects, like on their turn, to just stop them from doing Orca stuff or whatever their dark deck they're playing, which is half the decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! So it's not an insane disruption. It's, I guess, just letting you play through stuff. I don't know. The second effect also says if your opponent special summons a monster or monsters, or if you activate a SENKA monsters effect, all SENKA monsters you control gain 300 attack for each SENKA monster you control until the end of this turn. So as you get a little more offensive, but also combining this effect with like these bounce effects, like you just do that and then you bounce something, or then you negate something, makes it a little better, and then you're like buffed so you can go on the offensive with them, which is pretty nice because he's already 1800, so he's like your best one for sure. And then this guy's at 16, so that'll put him at a decent stat line and all of them, so that's pretty cool. This one's definitely weaker. This one's definitely very good and possibly just a straight 3 of. This one, not as much to me, but we'll see. The last card we have here is a continuous trap card called SENKA Legend Champion's Bravery at Changban Bridge. Continuous trap. You can only use one effect among the second and third effects with this card's name once per turn and only once that turn. Okay. First effect, if your SENKA monster battles, your opponent cannot activate spell or trap cards until the end of the damage step. Nothing crazy there. That's a pretty specific thing, not super common in Yu-Gi-Oh! Nowadays anyway, but could come up, who knows. Second effect, at the start of your opponent's battle phase. At the start. If this card is face up in your spell and trap zone, you can send this card to the graveyard as cost, and for the rest of this turn, your opponent cannot target SENKA monsters for attack. So, wow, okay, I actually quite like that. If your opponent is in a position where they can just make a big battle phase push, right at the beginning of battle phase, you just send this card to grave and then just no to the whole battle phase. Very interesting. Very interesting. And the third effect, when your opponent's monster declares an attack, you can banish this card from your graveyard as cost to special summon a SENKA monster straight from your deck. So these are the two effects. The second and the third are the ones that you can only do one and only once per turn. So you can use this first effect by sending it to the graveyard to like stop your opponent's battle phase, like pretty much just make your SENKA monsters unattackable, and then on another turn, should your opponent ever declare an attack on you, you can just get a free special summon straight from the deck, which is pretty cool. They just know that like if they're ever going to attack you again for the rest of the duel, you're going to get a free monster off of it. Not bad, but a little slow. I think this card's okay, but not amazing. This card to me is a little lackluster unless I'm missing something. This card's very good. These cards are okay, but all three of these are okay, but they're all geared towards going second. I love these first two cards. I think these two are like awesome, and then this guy is okay. But and a little better going first. So I'm really curious to see where this deck goes. I'm not sure if this is enough for what they kind of need to be a real deck, but I'm definitely interested in them for sure. I mean, we already have support like Tenki and Tensu to kind of let them combo off and be consistent and stuff. And okay, I love the design. I'm really curious to see where this deck goes. I think it's a pretty decent start. I mean, what do we get? 8 cards here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We got 9 cards here. Solid start. We have a nice foundation, but I'm really curious to see where we go from here, guys. Let me know your thoughts down below on this brand new archetype. 9 new cards. So I love when this stuff happens. And yeah, just let me know your thoughts, guys. If you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel because I'm keeping you up to date on news. Like I said at the beginning of the video, shout out to Yu-Gi-Oh organization. They are awesome, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.